You want to go to Northwestern, I want to help you do it. My name is Craig Meister. You can learn more about me and my college application coaching services at collegemeister.com. I can work with you one-on-one throughout the college application process, not just in video format like you're getting today when we're going to be talking about how to get in to Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. Tip number 1, below this video, there's a link to my classic article, How to Get Into the Ivy League Ethically. I want you to read that article from top to bottom, start to finish. Really absorb what is in that article, because if you can do everything in that article, you can start the first day of your senior year in high school well positioned to get into Northwestern as a senior, regardless of whether you apply early decision or regular decision. But if you do not take to heart everything in that article, you could be in senior year and already be at a great disadvantage in terms of getting in to Northwestern, because Rome was not built in a day, and neither is getting in to Northwestern. Tip number 2, when you apply to Northwestern really does matter. Their acceptance rate for early decision applicants is 2 to 3 times higher on an annual basis than their acceptance rate for regular decision applicants. Now, you should know that early decision applications are due in November, and if you get in by mid-December, you are binded to attend, meaning that you will be attending unless you can find some loophole out of it. So you really should have Northwestern as your first choice school, and you should have a conversation with your family about the financial logistics, about signing on the dotted line and committing to going to Northwestern if you get in, before you decide whether or not you want to apply early decision. But if you're looking at it from a purely statistical perspective, your very best shot of getting into Northwestern, all other things being equal, is to apply early decision and not apply regular decision. Tip number 3, Northwestern University accepts optional resumes on its supplement to the Common Application. You are smart because you're watching this video. Therefore, continue to be smart by uploading a resume to the supplement for Northwestern on the Common Application. The resume should elaborate in greater detail what you cannot provide in the very tight activities page of the Common portion of the Common Application. Most compelling Northwestern applicants have much more to share about one or more of their extracurricular activities than could ever fit on the activities page of the Common Application. So you would be doing yourself a great service by making sure you curate a very well-written resume about yourself and everything you've achieved since the summer after 8th grade on a Google or Word document before you upload it to the supplement for Northwestern. Now, how do you organize and format and build out such a beautiful resume? Well, I want you to develop an extraordinary extracurricular resume. So, below this video, there is a link to my very short course that also costs so little. It's really shameful how little this course costs. You can buy it or rent it, but the course name is How to Build an Extraordinary Extracurricular Resume. It's less than an hour in length, and it's going to give you all the information that you need in order to develop a personalized resume, one that really differentiates you from your competition and allows you to be proud of the unique activities and pursuits and passions that you have engaged in over your high school years, and not just try to fit a square peg into a round hole with a boring template professional resume. This is a resume that you're going to put together after watching that How to Build an Extraordinary Extracurricular Resume short course that is tailor-made to the college application process and specifically to uploading to supplements to augment the overall application that you will be submitting. So again, I cannot recommend highly enough my How to Build an Extraordinary Extracurricular Resume short course, which again, you can purchase right now or rent right now on the link below this video. My next tip, tip number 4, specifically relates to the supplemental writing on Northwestern's supplement to the Common Application. Now, before I get to that, I do just want to alert you that in the 2023-2024 admission cycle, at least, Northwestern has taken the very bold step of not requiring students to submit the common essay on the common portion of the Common Application. Now, most students applying to Northwestern are going to be applying to schools that still require the Common App's main essay. So if you think about it like an arms race, I would still do everything you can to put together a strong Common Application essay, even though Northwestern officially does not require it any longer. I don't know why they've made this choice. I'm not in the admissions office at Northwestern, but I do believe that if you have a personal story to share that is separate and apart from your desire to go to Northwestern, and that is in fact a Common App essay responding to one of the Common App prompts, you should certainly still produce that and put into the Common App's writing page and submit it and share it with Northwestern, even though Northwestern does not require it. I'm not going to share any more tips in this video about the Common App essay, but below this video are links to my past videos and also an article I've written about the Common App essay in particular so that you can avoid common pitfalls that students make when drafting their Common App essay and generally strategically approach picking which prompt is best to respond to for you and your unique past up till this point, your life story up until this point. So definitely check out those other links below this video so that you can nail the Common App essay. And really, here's a better analogy, hit it out of the park. Let's not just nail it, but let's hit it out of the park, because that's going to be an important essay for you if you choose to submit it to any school, even Northwestern, even though Northwestern does not require it. So it's up to you if you want to submit it, but I would recommend submitting it, especially if it's strong and one you've put together for other schools on your list. Now, again, like I said, I do want to talk about exclusively from this point forward the supplement and Northwestern specific expectations on the supplement for Northwestern on the Common Application. Specifically in the 2023-2024 admission cycle, the following question is required for all applicants to respond to in 300 words or fewer for Northwestern. We want to be sure we're considering your application in the context of your personal experiences. What aspects of your background, your identity, or your school, community, and or household setting have most shaped how you see yourself engaging in Northwestern's community, be it academically, extracurricularly, culturally, politically, socially, or otherwise. Again, you have 300 words with which to respond to this quite loquacious prompt. It's not as hard as you may fear. Basically, this is a why Northwestern essay, and they want to get a very specific understanding of what from your past informs your decision of why you're applying and how you will contribute to Northwestern University. So I don't want you to bite off more than you can chew. I'm sure parts of your background, your identity, your school, your community, all of these things have shaped you in different ways and inspire you to apply to Northwestern. That's why you're applying to Northwestern. But you have to focus on one or two things max about your background, your identity, your school, your community, your household setting, et cetera, that has really laid the strongest foundation for you and most shaped how you see yourself engaging in Northwestern's community. So, Northwestern values diversity of all sorts. And again, as they said in the prompt, academically, extracurricularly, culturally, politically, socially, or otherwise. So don't feel as though you need to pick your skin color or your religion or your nationality, though you can if you wish, if those are truly things that have most shaped you and also will inform how you engage in Northwestern's community. So I highly recommend that you really do a lot of reflecting before you even start drafting this into who you are and what motivates you, but also do a lot of researching into what opportunities currently exist at Northwestern that you are attracted to, and then try to find an alignment between who you are today and who you see yourself becoming tomorrow so that you can craft a 300-word response to this prompt that does a very solid, if not awesome job of describing the part of you that's most shaped how you see yourself engaging in Northwestern's community, and then also takes the time to actually show yourself engaging in Northwestern's community. You can't just talk a good game, you have to show it in terms of the words you choose, particularly in the second half of this response. So the first sentence or so should be your intro/thesis. The thesis, again, should introduce very specifically and concisely your choice of background, identity, etc., that you're going to build the essay around as being most impactful to shaping who you are and who you will become at Northwestern. Then the body is where you're actually going to reflect a little bit about how that's been a huge part of who you are and who you are today in particular. And then segue into showing how that's going to bear fruit for you or show itself to be the truth on the campus of Northwestern. You can't just say, as a Black, queer Texan, I am going to bring diversity. The end. You have to go deeper. You have to say, as a Black, queer Texan, I have this experience that has been very impactful. Then you describe the experience for a few sentences. Then you're going to say, as a result of what I've learned from this experience and growing up this way and basically owning it, I feel as though I'm going to be engaging in campus life thusly. Don't use the word thusly. That's a very old-fashioned word. And then you proceed to basically describe how, as a, what did I say you are? A Black, queer Texan? I think that's what I said. If that's what you are, then you show yourself being a out and proud and engaged. That's really important. Black, queer Texan on the campus of Northwestern. How does that show itself? What does that look like? What club are you going to join? What class may you want to take? What major are you going to pursue? Are you going to create your own major? Is there a professor you want mentorship from? Again, this is all fair game. Again, you can't do it all though. So you only have 300 words. So try to zero in, I would argue, on only 2 identities, because by being a Black, queer Texan, you're trying to fit a lot into 300 words. I don't know if you can fit all that into 300 words. So maybe focus just on being a Black Texan or a queer Black. Whatever is good for you, but I don't want you to bite off more than you can chew. So again, the goal here is to show who you've been, who you are, and who that will be at Northwestern. They get excited most about seeing you've done the research necessary into them, Northwestern in this case, so that you can show yourself in specific places on campus or talking with specific people or learning from specific people or providing a particular value added to those with whom you interact as a result of the background, the identity that has most shaped you. Again, arguably you only focus on one part of you, the Black or the queer or the Texan, and not all 3. But you get my point. Again, most of the people watching this will be none of those 3 things, and you will have your own combinations and permutations of identities, interests, backgrounds, parts of your life story that you feel like are really most important to share with Northwestern as a way to harness them or it into proving and showing how you will behave as a value added to those with whom you interact on the campus at Northwestern. And then, of course, the body is where you prove it. The conclusion is where you go a step beyond it and say something new. Do not just restate the thesis in your conclusion. 300 words. I know it's hard. That's why I'm in business. Go to collegemeister.com if you feel like you need some support helping focus you as you draft out this most important Northwestern supplemental essay for the 2023-2024 admissions cycle. And I'll keep this video online if this is a essay prompt that stands the test of time into future admissions cycles as well. But we are not done, because Northwestern, unlike in past years where they only had one 300-word supplemental essay on their supplement to the Common Application, this year they give you the opportunity to respond to 2 more questions of your choosing out of 5 choices, and basically provide them 400 more words. Each of these responses is 200 additional words, so 400 more words. So you're writing basically 700 words total now on the supplement for Northwestern in the 2023-2024 admission cycle. So we are not done. You can respond to up to 2 of the following prompts. Number 1, painting the rock is a tradition at Northwestern that invites all forms of expression Students promote campus events or extracurricular groups, support social or activist causes, show their wildcat spirit, what we call purple pride, celebrate their culture, and more. What would you paint on the rock and why? You can respond to that in 200 words. You can also respond to Northwestern fosters a distinctively interdisciplinary culture. We believe discovery and innovation thrive at the intersection of diverse ideas, perspectives, and academic interests. Within this setting, if you could dream up an undergraduate class, research project, or creative effort, a startup, a design prototype, a performance, etc., you get the idea. What would it be? Who might be some ideal classmates or collaborators? You can respond to that in 200 words. You could also respond to the following prompt in 200 words. Community and belonging matter at Northwestern. Tell us about one or more communities, networks, or student groups you see yourself connecting with on our campus. That would be sort of an adjunct to what we talked about already. If you've been able to start that conversation in the first prompt, you may be able to continue it and really, like I say, knock it out of the park in terms of proving your Northwestern street cred if you respond to that prompt, if you're inspired to, in 200 words. Number 4, Northwestern's location is special on the shores of Lake Michigan. Steps from downtown Evanston, just a few miles from Chicago. What aspects of our location are most compelling to you and why? And then finally, 5, Northwestern is a place where people with diverse backgrounds from all over the world can study, live, and talk with one another. This range of experiences and viewpoints immeasurably enriches learning. How might your individual background contribute to this diversity of perspectives in Northwestern's classrooms and around our campus? That one sounds awfully similar to the first prompt that is required. So you have a choice between these 5 additional prompts I just responded to, that I just shared with you. And every student comes from their own place, their own perspective, their own viewpoints, their own value system. So I am not here today to tell you which ones you should respond to, though I will say you are most likely to get the best final product 2 additional essays when you respond to the prompts you are most excited to respond to. So don't overthink this. I would try to write out a draft in response to the 2 prompts of the 5 that I just read that most resonate with you. And if you find yourself in your first draft able to produce 300 to 400 words or more, that's a very good sign. The final draft has to be 200 words. If, however, you're drafting this out, your first draft, and you're responding to one of these 5 prompts and you can't even muster, let's say, 175 or 150 words, that's a very bad sign. That means you really don't have much to say on that topic, and maybe you need to abort and move on to one of the other prompts. So, the length, if you will, of your first draft really is a leading indicator of whether or not your final draft will be robust enough, muscular enough to really have what it's going to need and take to get into Northwestern. Otherwise, I will just give a few extra tips on each of these prompts. If you do the painting the rock one, again, this is another way to share an element of your value system, your culture, your idiosyncrasies with Northwestern. So this is a great way to share something new. Do not just restate something we already know about you. So, for instance, if you already have on your resume that you were president of the ice cream club at your school, then I don't recommend necessarily saying that you're going to paint an ice cream cone on the rock, because we sort of already know you like ice cream. So why not use this opportunity to share something new about yourself? You only have 200 words, so regardless of which prompt you respond to, a 1-sentence intro with a thesis, a several-sentence body, basically a paragraph-long body, and then a sentence or 2 conclusion. Remember, the sentence or 2 conclusion goes a step beyond the thesis, goes a step beyond the body. The body proves the thesis and really shows and provides supporting ammunition for the thesis so that they know you're not just all talk, but your action as well. But otherwise, again, don't share something you've already shared. Share something new about yourself that's going to make you more attractive, more interesting, and they're going to become more intrigued by you as an individual and as a student, or at least as an individual, as a result of your response to that prompt, if you choose the painting the rock prompt. If you choose the create your own class, research project, or creative effort prompt, it's going to be really key, again, that you get into the weeds of specifics of why this class and with whom you would be trying to make that opportunity available. Either who would be the collaborators that you would be working with, or who would the class be most appealing to or for. So you've got to cover all that ground if you choose to respond to that. But if you're really motivated and excited about the creativity that comes from responding to that particular prompt, go for it. Because again, this is another way in which it's sort of like a window into your soul. If you really feel like this could be the one that allows Northwestern to see more of you as a human and as a person, not just as a student, I would say go for it. And you're excited to write it. Number 3, of course, is community and belonging matter to Northwestern. Here's where you share more about one of the communities, networks, or students group you see yourself connecting with on campus. It's very important that you not just write a love letter or book report on the Black Student Union or the drama troupe that you're most excited to join. Instead, yeah, of course, allude to that in the introduction, but then the body really needs to elaborate on why this particular club resonates with you so much, or this opportunity resonates with you so much, and how you will form community with it. And this is basically a personal persuasive essay again. So make sure you keep the spotlight as much on you as possible, while also paying homage to what you know, and sharing what you know about that opportunity. So it becomes an essay where you're sort of flirting with Northwestern and this particular club or opportunity, but you're also underscoring some interesting elements of your personality, your value system, and combining those two elements within one particular response. If you choose to respond to the location one, which I'm not a huge fan of, just because, couldn't you write the same essay to University of Chicago? And I always usually say to students, don't write an essay to one school that you could theoretically write to another, or maybe Loyola in Chicago or one of the other schools in Chicago. I don't know why you would want to just focus it on the location. And you only have 200 words, and you're going to be bifurcated potentially between Evanston and Chicago itself in terms of your response, so you're going to be spreading yourself thin. But if you really want to do this one, I would try to go all in on Evanston, or make a very compelling case, and just what you felt like when you visited, or what you felt like when you visited online, or did a Google Map search of it, or Street View. What did it make you feel like? Why do you feel like that would feel like home for you for 4 years? If you start branching out too much into Chicago, you're going to have a harder case to make, because there are a lot of colleges in Chicago, and you're losing an opportunity to really make the case for Northwestern. But what I would say is, if you do choose to Chicago writ large, or Chicagoland as they call it, yeah, I would argue that you need to make a very compelling connection between it and your long-term goals or your curricular goals, either your professional goals or your academic goals, while in this response, so that they feel like there's a true symbiosis between whatever you're going to learn and experience on the campus, and doing so in the particular place that the campus finds itself, which again is in Chicagoland, inclusive of Northwestern and Chicago proper. But I don't like that one as much, frankly, as the others. And then the 5th one, again, depending on how well you did with your response to the first required essay, I don't see why you necessarily would need to respond to the 5th one, where they're asking you to share more about your experiences. But like I said, if you were a Black queer Texan, theoretically, if you only covered the Black and queer part in the first response, you could talk more about the Texan in you in this response, and how that part of your individual background will contribute to the diversity of campus. So basically, Northwestern has given you, if you choose prompt number 5, 2 opportunities to write I'm a diverse person, I have a diverse perspective, this is how it's going to metastasize on your campus essay. Basically, again, 2 why Northwesterns to some extent. Again, all of these could sort of be framed as why Northwestern if you do it correctly. And I would encourage that all of them sort of read as another stake in your foundation, or in your planting the stake down on the ground that you are a good fit for Northwestern in all 3 of these responses. 1 of them is required, 2 of them are optional. Do not just respond to the first one. If you do that, then why you watch this whole video? Use the other 2 optional ones to your best ability to convey, again, the positive ways in which you would differentiate yourself on campus as a net contributor to campus, while also making very clear you know about Northwestern's campus, the value system that exists there, particular academic opportunities, extracurricular opportunities, social opportunities that exist in Chicago through particular clubs, etc. Depending on which one you respond to, all of these, ultimately, at the end of the day, can and should be harnessed to be why Northwestern essays, and why Northwestern is a great fit for you essays, and why you are a great fit for Northwestern essays. So I know I'm asking you to do a lot, but you can do it if you really get serious about the drafting process. Don't just submit your first draft, go through at least 3, 4, 6 iterations of these drafts so that you can refine your final drafts to be the very most compelling 300 words for the first response and 200 words for the next, each 2 responses. So 700 words total to make your overall final closing argument for Northwestern University. Now, I will add one more thing, which is there is the opportunity to interview with Northwestern. If you were invited to interview, which you get invited to after you apply, please do it. You can't really fail an interview. While it won't hurt you necessarily not to take part in an interview, it could absolutely help you to take part in an interview, so why not do it? Again, I always say go big or go home, be in it to win it, and fight to the finish. Taking part in an interview, if it's given to you as an opportunity with a member of the alumni community at Northwestern, would be very much my advice. And in terms of how to prepare for such an interview, I have produced some videos in the past about how to make the most of an interview and how to actually ace an interview. And you can learn more about those by clicking those links below this video. So my name is Craig Meister. I'm tired, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I think it was helpful. If you've made it to this point, you do now have a better shot of getting into Northwestern because of what you've heard from me today, and you can rewatch it, share it with your friends or family members who also may be applying to Northwestern, who have children or cousins or nieces or nephews who are applying to Northwestern. And you can also review my entire back catalog of videos at youtube.com/collegemeister, because I've done videos on other colleges as well and other facets of the college admissions process. Otherwise, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and please keep watching. Otherwise, I wish you the very best of luck getting into Northwestern University. Stay safe and stay well. And if you want to learn more about me, go to collegemeister.com. Have a great day.